missed you.
Dan, it's such a delight to see you and be able to
Right?
talk to you. It's been a
I was
million
just
years.
saying on camera how everyone doesn't age except me.
You really
Um,
look the same, except
I,
gray in the beard.
I'm distinguished now. So
Yeah,
trust me,
that's
I'm
right.
wise and smart. Tell everybody.
A real pillar of the community.
I feel like you've got a painting in a closet back there somewhere that's all the crap. You got the Dorian Gray thing going on from Oscar Wilde.
I'll never tell.
But Brenda, no, how long have we known each other? It's like 20.
It's
Is it?
coming up on a really long time. Yes, 2006.
Right?
Wow. Oh, that's
Yeah, it
scary.
is one of those where you're like, I was about to say 20 years. I'm like, there's no way it's almost 20 years. And then
Yeah, I'm really old.
you and me both, sister. I love it. Let's see. You, delightful animal. Last time we spoke, we were on a cruise ship off of Florida. That was the last and first cruise I ever took.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not doing that again.
Not a cruise person.
But
That's
I'll
so
hang out with you in a hot tub
you
and,
and me both.
I'll
Yes,
hang out
yes,
with those our friends again, but we
yeah.
don't need the boat.
And I remember, like, even back then, we were talking about the wonderful world that was the customization of I mean, what's the technical term for it, if you will? Prosthetic is the closest thing.
Yeah.
Is, is there like a more customized niche within it? Meaning, like, is there a difference between, like, is there such thing as, say, an off the shelf versus a fully customized? And
Um, no, everything's customized because each person's different. So
you know,
there are components they put together, but they're all customized. Yeah.
awesome.
The stuff we were talking about was more of the superficial, like covers, laser
Those
printed.
skins and
Yeah.
carbon fiber
So
stickers.
you can make it look like whatever you
Is it
want.
called hydro dipping?
I haven't heard of it, but I can see what that would be. But for example, one of my friends who has a similar amputation as mine above the knee, his go-to Halloween costume is a pirate.
Nice.
And he literally had someone make him a wooden peg that he could attach instead of his regular prosthesis.
I love it.
I know, it's not easy to walk on. It's nuts, but it looks pretty cool.
I love it. And so, for listeners who can't tell, Brenda's an advocate and founder of Connecticut Amputee Network, amongst other things.
Yes.
But that is the bee that is in your bonnet. That is the muse of that
Yes.
occupies your time these days, right?
Yeah, and especially right now because we're introducing new legislation I live in Connecticut, so our state legislature. And I'm the co-founder of Connecticut Amputee Network, and the pirate is my partner, Herb Kolodny. And
That's awesome.
we recently have a third person, Lindy Mitsu, who's a
Mhm.
professor at University of Hartford, who's working with us now too.
Nice. Why?
Yeah.
Not her, but why Connecticut Amputee Network?
Uh, well, it started because Herb and I met at an adaptive climbing event, and
Uh-huh.
he mentioned that wanted to help get legislation changed that would require health insurance to cover prosthetics on a medically necessary basis.
They don't?
And I said I think I had been an amputee for about 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And so I knew enough about insurance coverage that I just jumped up and said, I want to do that too.
Wait, tell me more though, because like, I mean, is it that they don't cover really cool stuff? They don't cover it at all? Like, what's the
Um,
pain point there?
so insurance is covered on a state basis. So every state has different laws.
Yeah.
And insurance companies will not cover things that they aren't required to.
Ugh.
And once the Affordable Care Act was passed, that set out some minimum requirements of what you have to cover in every health
Mhm.
plan.
Sure.
So that's great, including eliminating pre-existing conditions and eliminating a lifetime cap on what the insurance company will pay out. So Herb had done some background research. We got together. We have different skill sets, so that was really, really helpful. We have similar. We're both above knee amputees, but I lost mine due to trauma in an accident. Herb lost his because he had bone cancer. But we just turned out to be good partners. So we worked that year. That was 2017. We went to our local state representatives and state senators, and it's just sort of funny because we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we didn't know. I didn't know how the state government worked at all
Yeah.
because I was new to the state. But we found a few supporters and champions pretty much right off the bat, from our local representatives. And one of mine at the time was Ted Kennedy Jr., and he's an amputee. And he is also on the board of the American Association of People with Disabilities. So he was a great advocate. And then Sean Scanlon, who was he the senator? I think he was a state representative for Guilford, the town next to mine. And they helped us meet other legislators, including the president of the Senate. And they kind of walked us through the process. They were really helpful. So in order to get a new law passed, first in Connecticut, you have to get the bill introduced into the Insurance and Real Estate Committee. That's where it all starts. I don't know why they put insurance and real estate together.
What does one have to do with the other?
Yeah, that's the way it works. So you have to get you need a sponsor of the bill, and then the chair or co-chairs of the committee have to ask the committee to vote on whether or not to hear it. And then you have public hearing, you have time for public comment and public testimony, and then they vote. And if it passes, then it goes to the full House or Senate, wherever the bill originated, if it was a representative or senator. And then it has to go to the other side to vote on it. And if it passes through both, then it goes to I think I left something out. Anyway, then it goes to the governor to be signed. And we just got lucky all along the way. We had mother of an amputee, a girl who was about 12, is a doctor at a hospital, and she enlisted the help of their government relations person to help us out. When we were just walking through the halls of the legislative office building, or we were waiting for a vote, and just talking to random people, and a lobbyist who worked in a completely different industry gave us a lot of great advice. And so we learned how things went. We organized people to testify when they had the hearing. We recruited people to send in written testimony, and it passed. So we got a new law that was enacted in 2018, requiring health insurance plans to provide coverage for prosthetics based on the doctor saying it was medically necessary.
And if I recall, their crazy prostheses are like massively expensive. Like you get into six figures and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, pretty close. It depends.
Yeah. Well, and definitely not always type of thing, but
right. But for example, before that bill passed, I had good coverage. Now, I'm losing track of the timeline of when things happen. But one of my first legs, I had to pay $20,000 out of pocket. Jeez. And that's only a portion of what the retail or whatever what the cost was.
And I imagine too, because it's like it's an appendage. You're like, it's worth it, and they know.
And I'm really lucky I had the resources to do that. I mean, that's just a great example of how these things are just not accessible to people.
That's a huge.
And before that law was passed, an insurance company could say, we pay $5,000 per prosthesis, or we pay for one leg every 5 years, or, so there are rules like that. And often you do need a new leg every 5 years. You need a new wheelchair every 5 years. Like a custom wheelchair is like $4,000 or $5,000. So there are all these things that add up, and there are also different supplies you need, which is boring. Anyway, so we got this bill passed, helped a lot of people. Some people still run into issues, like the insurance company will push back and say, no, you're not active enough to really need that high level of a leg, Anyway, so people get rated based on their mobility. It's called K levels, K1, K2, K3.
Is that the sophistication of the prosthesis, or like the extent of
it's
because like you have above or below the knee? Is it like the equivalent of measuring or whatever?
No, it's a measure of your physical ability. Gotcha. So there specific tests the physical therapists do, like stand up and walk, or how far can you walk in 6 minutes, and things like that. And so that gets put together into this score. However, sometimes a prosthesis that's really designed for a more able person is really helpful for someone who's not as able. So my prosthetist gave me this example. He had a 93-year-old patient, male,
Mhm.
who had been struggling with, he had a mechanical prosthesis, which means it's basically just like a
Sure.
hinge.
Uh-huh.
And my prosthetist put him into a microprocessor prosthesis, which is what I have. It's actually has a computer in it, has sensors,
Is
has,
that sophisticated? That's so
oh yeah.
cool. Well, I mean, I've seen like every once in a while you see something online where someone's like picking up a glass of water and they're like, it's hot. Like they're putting temperature sensors in there.
Yeah, the hands and arms are getting really cool. But the for a leg,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and they've been around a long time, and this is really now standard of care.
Wow.
Microprocessor knee. And it has, I don't remember how many sensors that take measurements a million times a minute or whatever. But what
Sure.
it basically does is it knows in time and space where you are in relationship to your leg. So it
Okay.
can be in the right place when you step. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it makes it easier for you to walk without thinking about it every time instead
Mm-hmm.
of like
Mm-hmm.
moving your body every time you need to,
Sure.
thinking about how to move your body and making sure the foot's there. It takes that out of your
Of
brain
your
so you don't have to think about walking all the time.
nice.
It
I
just
like
makes it more natural. And I'm probably not doing a great job of describing that, but anyway.
no, 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 no,
So
no. I know it totally makes sense. Like cars have their EFIs and stuff that are literally like in real. I've been building a car, and you find out the new cars they measure like the air and gas mixture in real time, so they can smooth out how much air they have, and it like resets every second or whatever to try to give
right,
you the smoothest experience possible. And
right.
obviously, too, like I mean, if you think about it, like you can't they've always found that like people aren't good at multitasking. It's one of those things that was kind of a myth where people are like, yeah, and it's like no. So if you have to focus on thinking, that means you're not thinking about anything else. That
If you have to look at the ground when you're walking,
uh,
it means you're not looking at everything else.
right?
You're looking where you're going to put your foot.
Yeah,
It's distracting. Anyway. Um,
cool. I
oh,
love
so
it.
I wanted to say, so the prosthetist put this 93-year-old man in a microprocessor leg,
Mm-hmm.
which is stabler, safer, prevents falls. So that the biggest risk to amputees is falling. And this guy just like stood up and walked straight, just stood up and walked. And he had been like hobbling on this other leg before. And so now he's in something he could walk more comfortably and more safely.
Is there a
And so
healthy secondary
sometimes,
market for prosthesis then?
no, because it's a medical device. In the US, it's not, it's against the law to resell medical devices.
Oh, that seems like such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, but what we do is we donate them to
Oh,
other to
mm,
organizations that send them to countries where people have a difficult time getting them. And
gotcha.
so
Huh.
they generally go to a good place.
Gotcha. Gotcha. There are ways to get them. Cool.
So all of that to say that that's what got me into it. And now we're introducing new legislation this year, or trying to,
Uh-huh.
that will require coverage for athletic and recreational prostheses
Nice.
because you can't run on your walking leg. Your microprocessor leg can't go in the water. So if you want to run, bicycle, swim, or sail, you usually need a different leg for each of those things.
So you have like a quiver.
Or surf. Yeah, a quiver of legs.
That's awesome.
And I do. I have 5 or 6. I don't remember.
What are the themes they need? And do they have names?
Names other than running leg.
It's a
No.
missed opportunity, Brenda. A missed
I
opportunity.
know. I don't name my cars either.
They become family members when you do.
Yeah. But I have a running leg, a biking leg, a surfing leg, or
You
water leg.
surf?
It's
I can't
yes.
surf.
I have surfed.
I cannot
It's not
surf.
something I do regularly.
I literally cannot surf. They don't seem to make surfboards that fit dudes like you've seen my build. I'm not a small man, and
No.
my shoulders are wide enough that it's like imagine me balancing on a cork. It's basically that. Like
But
every time we try to go do surf lessons and stuff like that, they hand me the training surfboards, and I go cool. So I don't know how I'm going to ride a toothpick, but they don't make
no.
the
Yeah, you start on a big board, long board.
so even the longboards aren't necessarily. I know I can do stand up paddleboard type stuff, but every time I go surfing and they do like, hey, we've got trainer boards, I'm like, okay, I need one literally twice as wide as the widest one you guys already have, and it doesn't exist, so I never get to surf.
Hmm.
I know it sucks because Alyssa, my wife, she always hops up and she loves it and she's good at it and stuff. And I just go, I can't train on a
Yeah.
toothpick, and all they ever have from me are toothpicks. It's unfair. You have a surfing leg. Rich.
Well, it's a water leg, so it's, anytime I need to walk in, I don't walking in the water is impossible anyway, but
Yeah.
water things like I like to kayak, and I live a block and a half from the Long Island Sound. So anyway, but I don't surf really. I have surfed, and I caught a
No.
wave once, and now I'm hooked. That's all. It's just
Nice.
it's such a great feeling,
That's
and I love being in the water. Only
amazing.
warm water though.
I love it. I am going to be,
Yeah.
well, just so you know, I won't, it will be involuntary, but you're going to get texted a list of names for your legs in the very near future, because like, this is the type of thing that my brain will
Okay.
latch on to. And for the rest of the day, be going, all right, what do we got here?
All right. Well, I'll send you a picture too. That'll help inspire you.
I definitely want to see pictures of them. The stuff is fascinating. I always, one of the things we do for fun around here is play with 3D printers and stuff like that. And like, every once in a while, there'll like be people that figure out how to print prosthesis for people. And there is like Leonardo, was it Leonardo or Michelangelo? I think it was Leonardo, said like the most beautiful structure or whatever in nature was the human foot, just like the way it was built, arched, all of the way the bones work together and everything else. Like it was one of the most interesting structures that he'd ever come across or whatever.
Interesting.
So people are trying to see if they can make really inexpensive prosthesis, because the plastic and the printing and everything is getting so cheap. They can share the files and stuff like that. So again, it's like, I'm sure they're not medical grade or whatever, but they're super fascinating in how you kind of create the effects of like closing a hand and pinching and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see a story about someone who is distributing 3D printers and software to developing countries so they would be able to print parts like that. And a foot is a perfect example, because you can just do a foot that is functional. It doesn't have to be like a super responsive carbon fiber foot. It's like, if you just need to walk, you can print a foot and you'll be able to walk.
Right. Theoretically, I've heard of people that got peg legs and it actually worked. Which is
Well, yeah, I understand that could work too. Yeah.
not well.
Hopefully you can do better.
What else has surprised you about the process becoming and being and living as an amputee?
Well, that is what you just said about a quiver. That's a perfect example of this, because I'm the first amputee I ever met.
Yeah.
So that's it's not just amputation. It's a lot of different things in life, but I knew nothing about this. So, I'm in the hospital and saying, what the fuck? Where do I go from here? I don't know. Like, how do I do this? And what are my options? And how do I get that information? Like, I don't know anything. And that it's a bizarre position to be in.
How do you find your way on that? Like, this is one of those where like half the people I talk to are just like, I woke up one day, figuratively or literally. We actually named this Burn the Map because it was usually like, I had one, but now I'm in uncharted territories and I potentially need to make new use of existing resources, right? It wasn't like forget the map. It was more like, no, we need to repurpose the map right at this point.
And speaking of the map, I mean, you and I had just graduated from business school. This was less than a year later. I lost my leg in an accident. And so I was thinking, I'm going to go get a job and I'm going to move wherever the job is. And I was changing careers. And now all of a sudden it was like, now what happens? So honestly, I don't remember where I first started learning about all this stuff about prosthetics and stuff. But I believe, I'm trying to remember when I got a computer again or a phone, but I got online. People in the hospital, social workers and stuff like that, they can start to point me. I went to a rehab hospital once I was released from the hospital. And that's how I met my prosthetist. In the rehab facility, I went to an amputee support group meeting, and the prosthetist that I now use was there giving a presentation about new technology. And I talked to him afterwards, and I liked him and started working with him, and we've developed a great relationship. So I've stayed with him for 17 years.
Can I
16
ask you
years.
a personal question on this?
Sure.
Whenever someone talks about, have you ever heard the term psychology? Basically studying happiness.
I haven't heard that term, but I
Yeah,
know I've read
one of
about.
the examples they almost always bring up is they kind of say like that your happiness is kind of like a teeter totter. It's balanced and counterbalanced. You kind of have a certain amount of like dopamine and whatever else, serotonin, and like you get an equal amount of both. There aren't really people that are just happy all the time, right? Like you literally, it's like cool if you have a really good event, you have a really bad event, you counterbalance them. And so
Mhm.
for that reason, they'll oftentimes say like the people that win the lottery, if they were disgruntled and sad, they're still disgruntled and sad 6 months later, right? And they usually use the example of an amputee too, and then X amount of days, years, whatever later, they're just right back to where they were. It's like meaning their level of happiness or whatever. Yours was obviously like a big accident. It was a big life changing accident to your
Mhm.
point. Did you go through that? And I mean, you seem no different from
Mhm.
then at all. Did you go through like kind of a period of equalization or whatever?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's I've had to think about this a lot, and that's
Yeah.
because it's been 16,
Yeah.
17 years. And I think honestly, I think in the very beginning, I saw my family who were so devastated and they had been so frightened when because I was in the hospital for a long time. They thought I was going to die. So they were still kind of traumatized, and I felt like I had to put on a good front for them in a way. Um,
It's hard to do.
and
I know the feeling though.
so I think that Yeah, so that was part of it in the beginning, and also just sort of saying, "Okay, where do I go from here?" Like, instead of thinking about what had happened in the past and the fact that it was different, it was just like, "I gotta go forward. I gotta keep
Yeah.
moving forward. Like, what's the next step?" And,
Sure.
so I think, yeah, that's a big thing I learned from this whole experience is that I definitely have a really strong will to survive, and I just think about forward, about the future. It's like, what's next? I'm not dwelling on the past.
Did you need help or did you just come to that conclusion? Meaning, so I'm sure you did.
Oh,
But like were there books, were there whatever else that kind of helped navigate the process? Or was it just something you're like, I'm built to do this, I'm moving forward type of thing? You just kind of naturally came to there is no other option. I'm just doing it.
I think I just did it and I wasn't thinking about it. And it's only on reflecting on what this whole process has been that I realized that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I think back and I'm like, why was I so positive? What was that? And I think part of it is like showing up for my family
Yeah.
too. It's just like, okay, we gotta get through this. We're not
Has
gonna
that
sit around and mope. Um, so I've been driven that way just to keep myself alive and keep myself going and productive.
good
But
for you.
I also do know because there's definitely a big, downside and
Oh,
bouts of
yeah.
depression and working with a therapist and all that to move
Sure.
forward. I always knew it, like I come up with this as kind of a joke about myself or self-deprecating, but I'm like, I know I have the option of sitting around drinking scotch all day. I can go back to that, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
to do that yet. I still have stuff I want to do. But it's true that there are a lot of people who lose a limb and they say my life is over and they don't see a way forward and they
Mm,
do. They just or they have difficulty with a prosthesis, it's painful or uncomfortable and they just give up. And
all right.
that's really hard to see. It's really sad.
Hmm.
But so that's also a part of how I got involved is through peer visiting.
Hmm.
And the national organization, Amputee Coalition, has training to certify peer visitors. So I went through that. Became a peer visitor, and then I actually became a trainer to train peer visitors. And that's really rewarding. And the goal is to have every new amputee have a peer visit. And it's that thing that I felt of like I'm the first one I ever met. I don't know where to go from here. And so by meeting with someone who's new at this, you can both demonstrate I'm alive and I'm moving forward, but also give them practical advice and say, yes, I know blah blah blah,
Hmm.
I know you may have chronic pain, you may have phantom pain, you will have difficulty with your prosthesis. This is stuff that happens, but you just you just deal with it, or, come back and talk to me and I'll tell you what I know. And so the peer visiting was really, really important and really rewarding.
Yeah.
That's like, I walk out of there high, just like, ah. Um,
Is that,
and
do you mean that literally? Well, so sorry, I don't mean that literally. Of course not literally, literally. But like I have had those where I've like built some. I get it when I build something. But I remember like one of the times we opened one of our stores, long, 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 long before I went to school or whatever. We used to own furniture stores. And I
mhm.
remember opening one of them and being in the shower afterwards and literally feeling high. It was like a absolute total rush, shaking, really feeling insanely good, and just going like, I've heard of people that like got the same sensation jumping out of planes and stuff like that. And I'm going like, oh, but like to your point, I go, there's
Yeah,
weird little things like that where I go, no, it is the same physical sensation that you would get from
right.
like a drug or whatever, but it's that good. It is that damn
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean, you had like completed something that
Yeah.
you had been working on for a long time, and that the peer visit, it is definitely, it's that rush. And yeah, I go, I'll be driving home and I'm like, I'm gonna go party. Like, let's go dancing. I'm just like full of energy. Um, and then I calm down. But yeah, I do literally feel high walking out.
Do you think it's actually the impact on people? Is it the accomplishment personally? Like, what was the driver inside of your brain that was actually releasing that dopamine? What part of it? What was the mixture, do you think?
It's a connecting with people and feeling like you are helping them in some way.
Gotcha. And like personally, them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you help people that you never meet or see or something like that, and it can do it too. And then other times it's like, no, I know the person. I saw the look on their face. I know I impact.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, I think I get that from this legislative work too, because it's one-on-one. The most powerful stuff, the stuff that really works, is meeting with people one-on-one, talking to them, learning what's important to them and why, like, especially if they don't wanna support this or they don't understand it, and then by the end of the meeting, seeing that they understand what I'm trying to communicate, and they're on board, or at least they're willing to think about it. But we connected, we communicated and understood each other.
I like that. It's one of the hardest things to fake, right? Is the human to human connection. So
Yeah.
a lot of the online stuff where people are like, yeah, I'm on Twitter and blah, 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 blah. There's nothing like breaking bread with people, right?
Yeah, I know. And we've with the group Connecticut Amputee Network, we've had Zoom calls with legislators, and it just isn't the same. It's like, where are you?
Doesn't work. The transition that like COVID did for the conference call world, like I liked it because again, I'm kind of like again a fake extrovert of
Mhm.
sorts.
Mhm.
It takes a lot out of me to talk to a group of people type of
Yeah.
thing. Like I love talking one on one and stuff. But a big part of like, oh, I don't have to travel anymore. I don't have to get on. I used to have to get on a lot of planes, and I did not like. I love traveling, but I don't like getting on a lot of planes.
Not for that.
And usually in business, you're getting on planes to places that you really don't want to go. At least again, you're like, okay, been there, done that type of thing. And the disconnect, like again, the like kids and stuff, and just going like, it's nice to be able to connect with people from different states and stuff like that. But simultaneously, like, there's so little connection via Minecraft and stuff like that. I'm like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
The world changed in a lot of ways. There's not nearly as much human communication. It's kind of one of those things. Like I just realized today I had one of my friends that was going, "Hey, we haven't gotten together in a while. Let's go cook some food, hang out, whatever." And I'm going, I think it's probably been 4 months since we even got a beer together. These are like good friends that live a mile
Mhm.
away, like close.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, the impact of COVID was awful, and I think I'm personally still feeling it because I haven't I remember after we were allowed, or I shouldn't say allowed, but felt comfortable socializing again, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I have to call people and like make arrangements to meet." It's like, wait, meet in person. It's not just going to happen. I can send a text anytime. So it's just like, but if I want to see someone face to face, I have to make it happen.
it is like it
And
is an
I'm
effort.
still not there. I'm still like kind of forgotten.
Oh yeah, and
You
where do people find you? LinkedIn,
Oh,
online. What's your preference of communication and connection of choice?
our website is ctamputenetwork.org,
Hmm.
and I'm Brenda at Brenda at ctamputeenetwork.org. And we're trying to keep our website updated with current resources. If we, like, as I said, peer visits, we can connect people with peer visits. We can connect you with other resources. If you're in Connecticut, we can help you with insurance denials, stuff like that. But even if you're not in Connecticut, we can help connect you. We'll connect you to the National Limb Loss Resource Center or Amputee Coalition or someone that can help you find a peer visitor in your area. And peer visits are also for caregivers, not just for people with limb loss. What else?
What was the best book you read recently?
Oh gosh. I did just read a really good one. What was it?
Doesn't have to be recent. What's your favorite book?
Favorite book of my lifetime is The Phantom Toll Booth.
Goosebumps? R.L. Stein. It's one of those.
Did he write
in my mind's eye? I think it's a Goosebumps.
Phantom? I don't know. But you know what? 8-year-olds, that's pretty close. I think I read it when I was 9.
Okay, so I've heard of people referring to this book in a joking way. Is it actually good?
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, there are a lot of good jokes coming from it too. The book I'm reading right now is The Improbable Victoria Woodhull, which is also good. So Victoria Woodhull is the first woman to run for president in 1872.
Awesome.
She was not yet even 35. I think she was 33 or 34. So she wasn't even old enough to serve, but she wasn't elected, obviously. But she had a very interesting life, and there's several books about her, but this is a new one, and I'm halfway through it, and I really like the tone. So I recommend that too. Yeah, crazy person. She grew up, she was a psychic. She and her sister supported her family by being clairvoyants. She was the first female stockbroker on Wall Street.
Whoa.
She and her sister started a brokerage firm, and they were supported by Cornelius Vanderbilt. And she made a pile of money in the gold thing in the 1870s. I can't remember the right word. Anyway, so everyone was selling everything, and she bought up stocks that were dropping, and then she made a pile of money when they came back. So she was very wealthy, and then had this crazy thing. I'm just totally losing my words now. She basically publicly accused Henry Ward Beecher, a very prominent preacher, of philandering and with one of his parishioners. And then that became a huge public scandal, went to trial. I mean, it's a crazy life, really interesting woman. And so I'm enjoying this book.
I love these people. I will be checking that one out. Thank you. I appreciate you, Brenda. And thanks for your time.
This is such a delight. And
I want to chat again soon.
Yeah, I'd love to stay in touch.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, this legislation we're working on now, it's called...
Go for it.
I'm going to get in trouble for not mentioning it. It's called So Everybody Can Move. But it has been passed in Utah. Or last year it was introduced in Utah.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't know if it passed or not, but someone's working on it, which is good.
All right, awesome. We'll have you back soon.
If you're on the East Coast, come find me.
Done and done. Thanks.
All right.